Hey everybody, my name is Phil Kohler. I'm gonna stream some of this Boob game that I've been hearing about. I'm being joined by you guys.
Hashtag
Are,
boob game.
There.
That's my new name. I changed my name. It's now hashtag boob game. You can find me
Hashtag spelled
at
out.
hashtag spelled out. It's a name. It's a proper name. Thank you very much.
Hashtag boob hyphen game because your dad's last name was Boob and your mom's maiden name was Game.
Right, and she's very progressive. So,
Right.
I'm Austin Walker. You can find me at Austin_Walker on Twitter.
I'm Janine Hawkins. I'm at Bleeding Heart.
And so what's this? What's this?
Hey,
What do
sexy
we,
Tinkerbell. What's up?
I think we just call her Sexy Belle.
this is Dragon's Crown. This is a game that just came out. People in the chat, let me know how the audio is compared to our mic levels. I don't know if I might need to turn it down a little bit or something.
It's a pretty bitchin' dragon. I'm just gonna
boy.
say that.
There we go.
Pretty
Right away.
what
Let's get into this.
Dragon. A pretty
Ugh.
what? Whoa, there it is.
The way she moves. The
She's animated like
stretching.
lazy
Ugh.
slash animation, where it is just a blur and stretch tool.
You're just like liquefying stuff.
Right.
Okay, the elf lady's cute. I like her hair. I'm okay with that.
Also, I do want to shout out John from Atlas.
Yeah.
Stopped the chat earlier while Andrew and I were playing Shadows over Mystara.
Okay, awesome.
Oh my god, that fucking
Independent
sorceress.
boob motion.
Jesus
Ugh.
Christ. And also I want to shout out John not only for coming through earlier, but he was who posted on the Polygon review of this game, which was a really good post, a really good response.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know, Polygon's review of this by my coworker Danielle Riendo went up today, and she gave the game a 6.5, and she had some actual problems with like the structure of the game and the amount of grinding that's required, etc. But she also, one of the issues that she had, of course, was with the sexualization of women in the game.
Right.
And mentioned that, and obviously some people got very upset about that because people don't. Turns out some video game fans don't like when you talk about things that they don't like.
Turns out.
Anyways, but John from Atlas is incredibly one of the best PR guys in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Which is Atlas is just incredibly lucky because they had Aram before this, who's now at Sony, who's also a very good PR guy.
Right.
Atlas is just good at picking them, I guess.
It's really important, because so much of what makes that company work and so much of what has made them successful over the years is their great relationship with their fans, and I think with the industry altogether, with journalists, and to come out publicly and say, listen, critique is important, and critiquing the art style is a valid form of critique for this game because that's how games work. That's like, mature as hell and upfront as hell, and I'm down with that.
But especially in Atlas's case, because they've released a lot of games that have some seriously controversial stuff.
Sure.
Like teenagers shooting themselves in the head.
Sure.
Having PR people who can handle criticism of those things is very important.
Yeah, it's important, and it's cool. He's a great guy, and it was nice to see him, being respectful about people having different opinions with their reviews. Okay, so we're gonna select a player. So I'm playing this one player. I think you have to play a certain amount in order to unlock multiplayer, but also the game's not actually out yet, so I don't know that anyone's playing multiplayer.
Let's go.
Here's my thing. People, I will check out any of these characters. I'd rather not play the boob ladies.
Wait, that's what the dude looks like under that armor? That's insane.
Yep.
Is he a mech pilot?
Basically.
Is that what's happening?
Armor is a lot like mecha.
Jeez.
I have heard, so a lot of people are telling me Elf. I have heard the Elf is really fun. I tend towards, in these types of games, I tend towards melee, so I'm, leaning towards maybe the fighter or the dwarf, but I could play the Elf. I could try out the Elf. Says the Elf is well-rounded, I like that.
Yeah.
You sure you don't
Elf
want to
is-
play the Amazon that Arthur correctly pointed out is probably one of the only characters in a side-scrolling game whose ass is pointed at you at all times.
Well, listen, they learned a lot from
Magically.
American comics, so.
Nick Elaine says, "Play the fight guy."
Oh yeah, that's Elf is my favorite character in the old D&D beat 'em ups, which earlier Andrew and I played. Sorry, Dre Drape and I played Tower of Doom, the first D&D side-scrolling beat 'em up, and that was directed, or I guess it might not have been directed by George Katami,
Sure.
I think.
Yeah.
Who directed this?
Yep.
And so there is clear heritage there. So you know what? I'm going to push towards Elf.
Yeah,
Not
I'll
Elf.
play the elf. We need a name, so people in the chat, that's all up to you.
Not Trixie.
I mean, it could be Trixie. We can make
No.
messages for greeting. So this is all online stuff that I don't think is gonna matter
Right.
for me right now. But
Call her hashtag. It's a traditional
Oh,
elven name.
hashtag Boob game, right?
Right.
let's see
Hi,
here.
Tuna says
Pizza
Trixie.
Sephiroth. That's a pretty good one.
With 3 X's. I don't think
Goku.
that's...
Reading some really good.
John Carson says Lego Lass, which...
Taking a recommendation from Nog Knight here, my dying message is going to be "I am dead" in all caps.
It seems practical.
So that they know that I am dead. Angry Adam suggests bow shoot. Phil sucks, says Vocinica. Great, thank you. Appreciate it. I don't think Pizza Sephiroth is gonna fit.
No, almost certainly not.
It's my concern here.
Orin says Axe Battler, which is the name of the dude from Golden Axe. It's actually Axe = Battler. Maybe Axe - Battler, which is great because he uses a
The
sword.
window's so tiny. You've got like
Yeah.
5-6 characters there max.
I mean, there's classics. Oblivion H suggests naming her Butts. It's a pretty classic one.
It's
It's
good.
a classic one.
Bramblepelt
Oh, I wish.
says apathetic mom.
Let's try it.
Bramble is a pretty good elf name.
Let's see if we can make it fit.
Blazing Raven says, how about proportional character is her name?
Kate, we can do Bramble, or we could do just Bramble P.
Well, if it's Bramble P,
Okay, Bramble.
you already
it
know
is.
what it is.
All right, let's
Get ready.
let's
It's
do this.
adorable.
You seated yourselves and called
Here we go,
for
story
wine
time.
of the finest mead. Your partner, Rani, is in a particularly good
That
mood.
guy also does not look like he's shaped like a person.
Quaffing the bar's spirits buoyed your spirits.
He's the head of a
When things are
boy.
lively, Rani will recount a certain tale.
I think he's supposed to be boyish.
You
His
were
body
an
is
adventurer,
huge, though.
Just starting out.
Like he has
Yeah.
giant man hands.
It was then
This is the thing that bums me out about this game, or about the, I guess, some of the stuff that's going on in the game, is this art is really pretty.
I mean,
I think it's. Yeah. I don't know.
the shading and coloring is
Right.
and the detail
I think
are
it's
the
well
pretty
crafted.
things, but there are also some issues.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's well crafted. I don't know that I think it's pretty, and I don't think that those two things are incompatible.
I don't know. I think a lot of it is pretty.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think a
like
lot of
this,
it's pretty too.
this what's on the screen right now. I think is very pretty. I don't think I thought that last screen was pretty, but that's a completely subjective aesthetic thing, you know.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'm gonna attack this goblin.
No,
Nice.
no. What are you going to attack, Phil?
That gobbo.
There it
There
is.
we go.
Disgusting, dirty gobbo.
Have we
Oh.
agreed that we're gonna call kobolds cabos now?
Great.
Are we
fine with
adding
that.
that to the lexicon
Yeah, yeah.
for whenever
Cabos and
kobolds
gobos.
come up?
Gotcha.
Let's see here.
These attack animations are pretty great.
What?
There's limits to the amount of arrows I can carry.
Oh, no.
Is that okay?
Oh, but I picked up a bunch
Okay.
that I shot.
That's
Oh,
nice.
good.
I like that. I like that in games. I'm a fan of being able to pick up your arrows. So I started playing Skyrim again, and
How did that happen?
well, I have this friend who's way into Skyrim. I don't know what her problem is, but she often links me to like rad pictures, and I'm like, oh, those pictures are really good. I should go back and play some more Skyrim, and now I'm doing that.
So Dylan told me today that he's playing Skyrim for the first time ever. He's never played it. And
I don't think he's playing it yet. He's planning to.
he's planning
I don't
to.
think
Yeah, he's not yet, but he's going to. He's going to play using a Hatsune Miku mod.
Oh, of course he is. Also, he should probably stream that.
G-Up is in the chat. Just says, "Oh, this game."
Thank you, Gia.
Okay, so we can switch through stuff. What does our mantle do?
It's like a cape, right?
Yeah, but why can
Yeah,
we select
oh,
it? I'm wondering.
Is there a use button with it?
No, it doesn't seem
There's
like
some sort of
it.
sexy animation you could do if you were a better class.
Yeah.
Angry Adam says Skyrim is a lot like this game, except different. That's how I would compare them. Great work. That's how I became a critic. I'm gonna break this box because boxes need breaking.
Okay. So eating lets you heal more than your total health.
Shall I
Okay,
open
it
that
does.
door for you?
That's
The
interesting.
rogue Ranny
I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's
after
interesting.
appearing from out of nowhere. He thought that it would be a simple matter to take advantage of your
The more I
name.
look at her, the more I don't like her.
Yeah. Why is that?
Look how tiny her face is, and then look at her
All of them have
eyes.
really tiny faces, and that's kind
Yeah.
of that's kind
Yeah.
of messing with me.
There's a lot of head problems.
Oh, weird. Okay, I have a weird like mouse cursor that I can use.
Right. You can click on things.
Weird.
Pretty weird.
Oh, I can draw lines.
Can you what? Like what?
Why would you...
I don't know.
Weird.
Success. Cool. What?
B-Boyazilla, in case you missed it, the person playing the game is Phil. I'm Austin, and
I'm Janine.
Yeah, that is everybody.
The end.
Everybody who matters.
in the world. So these crossbows are like temporary,
Yeah, it looks like I get a specific
Well-
number of shots.
right.
That guy looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm down with that orc design.
That
It
whole
actually reminds
jittering
me-
on the edge of the screen thing's kind of weird, but sure.
Yeah. It reminds me a little bit of the way orcs are in Orcs and Trolls and Shadowrun Returns. They also do the kind of like the body and the up is bigger than the legs and down. Because it's an isometric game, I think it doesn't look as weird to me. It's not as jarring. But it's I get the design choice.
I killed that guy.
Good job. I really like the backgrounds.
Austin,
Since that point, you've
How can I get a
been
face
under
this small?
mutually beneficial terms.
Well, Phil,
You
you're about to
handle
have a baby,
combat,
right?
and
Yeah.
Ranny
Did you ever
handles
notice that babies have really small faces?
yeah.
Well, guess what? What you've gotten just now is a resource. You can take your baby's face and switch it with your face. Like in the documentary Face Off.
Wait, no, maybe that's...
Like
Maybe this
in
is
the
an adult,
documentary
and he has
Face
his
Off.
child, like, in his hood. Maybe that's what's happening.
Oh,
Maybe
maybe-
everyone here is actually a parent supporting their child on an adventure.
Or maybe these are all babies piloting FLESH Mecha.
Oh...
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
That makes us cute.
I think you
Well-
just cute is maybe.
Let's slow down. Let's not think
Cuter.
things we can't take back.
I think you just discovered
You
the
came to Highland as an adventurer.
the twist at the end
Like
of the
many
game.
of your fellows, you strove to challenge the dangerous labyrinths here.
That elf was really John Travolta all
The
along.
labyrinths
Is
were
that
every bit
that's
as
what the twist
perilous
is?
as you'd heard. Most were lucky to even
Like a John
have their
Travolta baby.
bones exit the
What
room.
up, hot boob
What if-
waitress?
You don't currently
What if
belong to the guild.
Look Who's
I
Talking
recommend
was
registering.
also was Face
You
Off?
can
What
get
if those were the
jobs there
same in the same
and learn
universe?
skills.
I'm gonna go write some fanfic, guys. BRB.
I can now go to the Adventurers Guild.
Cool. Oh, can you double jump? I just saw you do a double jump.
Clad in
I was
full
trying.
The Guildmaster,
I saw you jump pretty high.
Samuel Joseph stands in the center of the guild hall.
Yes, John.
like a statue.
Clumsy agent in the chat. Look whose face is off. Yep. Samuel Joseph is a pretty good name for a guild master.
And Janef says, adds Janine thinks Flesh Mecha are cute to JanineFacts.txt. Could somebody get that into the wiki? Thanks.
Yep, probably. Oh yeah, P.S. guys, we have a wiki now.
God, it's so dumb.
I just added a picture for Rutabaga.
Is it a
Actually,
picture of a
rutabaga.
rutabaga? Great.
That's
Okay.
close enough.
He
It's
appraises
related.
you with a
It's in the
look.
same
Here
family.
is the link to the wiki. Other stuff added recently. Jazz Ladies was added earlier from an earlier Streets of Rage stream.
before returning. The Guildmaster directs you to Morgan's Magic Item Shop.
Dylan's in the chat and says,
Even able to
hello
wear
nerds, we
magical
playing sexy games?
Yep.
Have you ever seen anything sexier than this guy who looks like maybe he was involved in Escaflowne?
Only ever playing sexy games.
To be deemed worthy by the Adventurers Guild.
So yeah, I can double jump, and that's pretty
Oh
rad.
god. Somebody made a tiny URL for the wiki. It's tinyurl.com/watchraisingvanityl. Which,
A labyrinthine
I wonder who made that.
Morgan Lisbeth,
Yeah, I don't know.
shopkeeper and witch welcomes you to
oh, here we go. Sweet.
Well,
I
There is
guess
no object
good
repair which
shading
does
on the
not fall under
cloth
her purview.
folds.
you're really
On the-
digging for the good things. Excellent.
With the
Yeah.
chain, that's a detail. That's
I'm
a
glad you-
thing fabric does. The
I'm
rest
glad
of
you
it's
pointed
not,
out-
but that is.
The cloth folds. I'm glad those are the things.
So you guys didn't get to hear, but when I clicked repair equipment, or when I entered the menu, one or the other, the character here let out a little like giggle thing and said, "What do you want?" in a very sensuous voice. Yep.
And did you say like, I really want you to fix the short bow because it's broken because I fought some gobos earlier.
Yes. I gave her 100 coins to fix that.
You will visit
I
Morgan.
really like that lady's staff, though. Like, I'd equip that.
Sorry
her
about
hair's
that.
kind of cool. She's gross. Don't get me wrong. She's gross.
Zavari in the chat says, "No shirt, no shoes, no service, ma'am."
No shirts, no shoes, final destination.
Great.
Someone had final destination
equipment is
for the
now
wiki.
unmarked.
Cool, thanks.
You should return to the guild and see if the guildmaster deems you worthy.
Whoa. I can't tell if Caminator is being awful or just being something else. Caminator says play one of the chicks instead of the elf boy.
Yeah, that
Walking
could
up-
go either way.
You're walking a line right now. I don't know how to read it, but you're walking
It
a
could be
line.
funny, or it could be kind of gross. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of gross.
Once again, the
I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Joseph
Right.
stands in the center of the guild hall.
This guildmaster, this
like
poor
a
guy,
statue.
he just doesn't seem
With
comfortable
your
at all.
equipment now in tip-top condition, you request to join the guild. Samuel issues you a test of skill.
Dylan points out he did use Kappa face. There is that.
That's true.
What
Rolyot in the chat says, "Hey Phil, is this Nino Cooney?
Yes.
Am I gonna do the entry exam or tell him I'm overqualified? I guess I should do the entry exam probably.
I don't know. How do you think? What do you think Bramble would do the end? Yeah,
I
think
don't feel
Bramble-
qualified for shit.
Samuel says
Yeah.
that you can find him in the
This is probably a
ancient
skipping the
temple
tutorial
ruins.
thing, right? If you had said I'm overqualified.
Yeah, That's what happens when people are like, here, take this test. And you're like, nah, I know everything. You're just like, okay, cool. Here's some money. Have fun. Here's your degree.
To prove your mettle for the Guildmaster, you head to the ancient temple ruins.
We're going to ancient temple ruins.
Roland.
There's probably not any monsters there or anything. Look at this little kid.
Again,
is that
his
this little
background
kid carrying a giant wine bottle? You can't drink that, kid.
Aw, that kid is just helping out. That's all.
Kid, what are you doing?
Kid,
I like that he
kid,
keeps looking at you.
kid, bring
What's
me
that
that
lady
wine
doing?
bottle. Kid, I need a drink.
Real bad.
Oh.
A magic gate was recently
Bob Wash
found
says
in the
that kid
ruins
hasn't earned his
on the
flesh mecha
outskirts
yet.
of town. Use that to reach your destination.
That's why he's hauling the wine around. You gotta do your time in the vineyards before you get your flesh mecha. It's like you people haven't even been to Europe before.
We're really,
Dylan
we're really
says,
fleshing out this lore.
Well, those
That's
ladies in the
pretty. That thing's
statues
pretty.
have pretty alright proportions too. Did you notice that?
Well,
The
that's
statue
'cause they're
ladies-
from olden times.
Oh, before the rise of the flesh mecha.
Exactly. They didn't have the technology.
Many things lie within the ruins.
They only
of the
keep those
old
statues
and
around
missing
because they're
temples.
quaint.
Some quiescent, some far less so.
I just broke a vase.
An ancient
Fuck you,
site
vase.
spoken of in myth is said to have destroyed the Elysian civilization.
Yeah, Dylan, we mentioned that earlier actually, and you missed.
What did we mention
Dre
earlier?
and I, that George K worked
Oh,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
Capcom D&D games. Also, Dylan, I was looking for you earlier because I wondered if you had those games because Andrew and I were looking for some more people to play with us.
Well, I already have all of the arrows that I can carry, apparently. Should I let this fairy out of this cage, or...
Yeah, what? Definitely.
Liberated a fairy that was trapped in a cage.
She
You
really
liberate
just looks like
her.
Tinkerbell with different hair and also sluttier.
Oh,
Oh no.
Treasure
Yeah.
rank E.
don't shame her for her fashion sense.
I don't know if you can do tiny fairies in lime green mini dresses anymore.
You think that's taken?
I think Disney's got like some sort of, I don't know, patent on that.
Oh, I know Janine used the word slutty. I really wish we
Yeah.
had guys.
Yeah.
So,
I'm still training myself out of that word.
yeah.
It comes a bit too naturally sometimes.
I killed a bunch of gobos.
Thank you.
Which means
Now that's a term I can get behind.
My estimation in Austin's eyes is going up.
You have made
It's
your way
climbing.
to Roland.
True. 7 Austin
At the guild's
points.
behest, he is looking for adventurers who went missing in the ruins.
Ugh.
For you to
Are
pass
his
your
muscles
guild exam,
outside of his
you
skin?
must help
Yes.
him. Roland
And then there's a
tells him to
fine
search
layer
the
of
ruins
rock
that
dust
are
on top of
submerged
those.
in
Oh
water.
my god.
Captain Juggy says, "What's wrong with that man?"
Much time has passed since the missing.
So
was
is this the
seen.
misandry in the game that I've
He
been
tells
looking
you to
for?
bring back their
Yeah, listen,
bones
guys.
if
So
they are
you should
found.
explain that. You should explain.
A lot of people who are
Alright.
upset about the review, about Danielle's review, were including Dylan on Saturday before the review came out, were explaining to me that the game sexualizes men as well.
Right.
They said it's okay,
Let's-
it sexualizes everybody. So I'm looking for that. I want some hot men.
You and me both. No, I'm like that would be cooler if no.
I got you.
Let's see.
Oh god, I just knocked over. I'm breaking these runes. Oh. Interesting. So they're little things shining in the background, and if I click on them, I get stuff.
I don't know what I was
Okay.
wondering what those were.
Like money or
I don't know what it is. It looked like maybe equipment of some sort. Maybe I can check. Nope. I cannot even open my menu right now. I don't think I can check until after I finish a level.
got you. I didn't really read all of what Dylan said, but I'm pretty sure he just said that he's moaning a lot. That's how I read that last thing he said.
You're
Oh
playing this
man.
on PS3, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is available on PS3 and Vita.
Ugh, that thing's
oh,
gross. I
that-
don't like that. Oh, great, there's more.
It's my
Cool.
turn.
They have little skull butts. Ugh.
Voila.
Treasure rank A. Fuck the haters.
B-Boy Azilla says, men don't realize that the Ken doll is also a result of the patriarchy. And I want to be clear to like people in the chat he isn't just like joking around there. That often a lot of people say like, oh well, look at how this sexualizes dudes, or look at how I'm held to unfair standards of beauty and blah blah blah, as if that's an excuse, as if that's to say feminist critique has no place. Feminist critique is off balance or off base. But feminist critique would say, yeah, that's also fucking part of the same systems at play.
Yeah, for sure.
About defining.
He
gender
has to look
roles.
strong because she has to look weak.
Exactly, and that's a really important line of argument that I'm glad he brought up here.
Unless he was just joking.
Yeah.
I've been when he first came in, I wasn't 100% sure because I don't know him.
It's so hard to tell sometimes.
For her, I probably again should not have assumed that.
B-Boy probably he. I'm pretty sure. I know him from Twitter a little bit, I think.
Okay,
Okay.
Allie, I'm not going to explain feminist critique again.
Again. On this stream.
Dylan says, Austin, can we not have parody? I think it's pretty obvious that most of this game is taking the art to a ridiculous extreme. I think that that's a debate worth having in two ways. One, should we be able to have parody or satire? And then more importantly, the specific critique, which is, from seeing what I've seen about this game, do I think it is parody or satire? And from what I've seen, I don't.
Yeah, I think that's the issue. Is like I don't think they're necessarily. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the way that this game treats female characters in general is the same way that it's treating male characters.
Right. And it's not.
Whoa.
Which is it? Yeah. If I thought that that's where it was, maybe I'd feel like there was space for it. But
look at the way that it treats these sexy naked lizard people.
Whoa, that was a cool animation that lizard guy did.
I like a lot of these monster designs.
The monster design seems really fucking cool. And maybe it's because that's the one space where like things looking unnatural is kind of okay, or like a little easier for me to get behind.
And on top of that, it's an area where it's tricky because I understand the argument that Dylan wants to make, where it's like there is a certain set of tropes that are very common in this genre, and and there's you want to sort of, if you want to do something that's really aping on that stuff, there's easy ways to do it, and I think they took the easy way.
Mm-hmm.
Rather,
He
like
also-
I think they could have done they could have done more. They could have made a point of saying this is what this was, but it's kind of stupid. Like we could have done this better.
I don't think that Dylan says that because of all the different features, like tweaking nipples on the Vita version, the muscles, breast poses, that it makes it obvious to him that the game is going over the top as going as over the top as possible. And for me, that's not enough to say
It's
that
not
that's
making
good
any
satire.
commentary and going over
Right,
the top.
exactly.
That's
It reminds
what
me-
makes good satire. You can't just say, "Hey, boobs,"
Right.
and
exactly.
then leave.
Well, I can.
Like you have to make some sort of point about that. You can't just put it out there and wait for people to interpret it, because some people are going to think you're serious, whether you
In fact,
are or
a lot,
not.
and if you're satire as a form, as a genre, is really tough to do for that reason. I think a lot about Far Cry 3, where the writer again and again in interviews insisted that what he was doing was a satire of the modern military shooter, of Western ideas of the exotic and the other. But again and again, people who critique that game just didn't see that. And I don't want to completely dismiss his intention, but I also totally want to dismiss his intention, because
Death of the author, man.
it's a big part of it, right? And like, I think there's a role for contextual analysis. Like, I think that you should bring up fantasy art when talking about this game. There is a history worth considering here, but you can't just point to that history and say, well, they did it.
There's
so.
also what Dylan's bringing up, which is but it's a Japanese game, and Japanese games are known for only doing this part way. And
But
like
that
to me,
doesn't-
that's not an excuse at all. That's just
No.
like
In fact-
well, okay, but
So and
In
so's
fact-
known for writing bad books. Well, maybe he shouldn't write bad books.
And more importantly, that is that's like when, okay, I'm going to be really, really strategic with this.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I've gone out to dinner before with
I leveled up.
good job. I've gone out to dinner before with people, and people get, and someone, down at the other end of the restaurant, there's a group of people who are being loud. And somebody says, oh, I wish they weren't being so loud. And then somebody else, in the defense of the people who are being loud, say, well, they're black, that's just their culture. And they think what they're doing is defending this group because they're trying to say, oh, this is their cultural attitude, this is a cultural style, but at the same time, they're in a...
I just want to give props quick in the chat to Daisy Crab, who says, I love this game. Already done a playthrough with friends on an import, but this game is genuinely and problematically sexist. And I think that's important. So, like, and this is something that, with, not to bring up a whole nother thing that gets people up in arms, but Anita Sarkeesian in her videos says at the beginning of her Feminist Frequency videos a very important point, which is that it's not only possible, but in many cases totally necessary to enjoy the things that you are critiquing. Like it's
Absolutely.
It's okay to like,
because you have to spend a lot of time immersed in them, and if you don't enjoy them, then you're just torturing yourself.
This is why I write the stuff that I write often. Like if I wrote a ton about BioShock Infinite this year. I really enjoyed that game, and it was through that enjoyment that I was able to then become critical of it. Like I don't think that those two things are incompatible, and that's really important, But so really, at the end of the day, what I'm saying about this it's Japanese culture is it's really insulting to Japanese folk, right? Like the people who made this game aren't dumb. They've made other games before. They've made stylistic choices before. I think I can say, oh, they slipped up on this one. They made some bad decisions instead of saying, oh, they don't know any better. They're Japanese. That just doesn't sit right with me.
I'm getting all this loot.
Jordan in the chat says, there are cases where you can critique something you really don't enjoy, like Dragon's Dogma. See, I really like Dragon's Dogma, but I also critiqued it. But no, I get what you're saying.
Sometimes your enjoyment needs to be like games in general. And you can be fully immersed in that for better and for worse. I hate that Anita Sarkeesian has to say that at the beginning of her videos, and she does, and people still don't listen. Yep. But the fact that there's this weird assumption that if you have anything that is less than glowingly positive to say about something, you must not like it. That's not how critical thought works.
That's not. But the problem is that in
nothing
pop culture
nothing
for years,
is fucking flawless. Like,
right, but we live in a world where, for most people, when they think of critique, they think of a thumbs up, thumbs down system. They think of a rating system, and not a thing where
if it's not like 8 stars or whatever high. Then
sure,
it's a bad
and to be clear, that's where part of the confusion and anger around Polygon's review of this is coming too. Is there are a lot of people who are like, oh, whatever, I'm fine with you guys talking about that, but I don't think it should affect the score. So there's definitely that sense of what you're talking about there, I think. Right.
Dylan says that I lost it. Where'd it go? I had something to add. He says, does improving the industry mean getting rid of games like this? And I think that's a really broad statement. Like, what do you mean by games like this? Do you mean games where the art makes players feel uncomfortable?
You can't just magically get rid of problematic games without having problematic games to point at and call problematic.
And also, worth pointing out, which is the point I was trying to make earlier, is that Vanillaware has done games that are not like creepy looking.
Yeah.
They're very capable developers,
Like, Vanillaware does not depend on super sexualized art to make good games. Like, they've made good games before. A lot of them.
And that's why I tend to to categorize this or characterize this as
return to the guild
a
to
mistake, but
report your
a
quest.
serious one, but a mistake,
However,
right? Like,
Samuel
I
gives
don't
you
think that
an
this comes from a
additional
place
task.
of like rampant misogyny where they've been waiting for years to finally, they've been honing their
possible to
craft
resurrect
to
the dead with
put
their
women back in
bones.
their place or something,
tells
right?
you
Like
to go to the
I
temple to
suspect that
attempt
they
a
had an
resurrection
intention
ritual.
that they didn't land, that they didn't follow through on.
Demon Temple
And
is a
I
temple dedicated
wish
to
that
the
there had been
worship of
people
the
along
goddess
the development
Althea.
cycle
Proceed
to help
there
them
immediately.
craft that a little bit more tightly, a little bit better, you know?